Why do you always say 3, 2, 1? There's a little thing that tells me when it's recording. Technically, I could go as soon as the recording starts.
Okay, and then you don't understand. You don't understand the intricacies of audio editing.
Intricacies by throwing things in a little thing and checking some level. That's intricacy, eh?
Basically,
guys.
I do have a point to my 3, 2, 1.
I think you have some validity, but I think we've been doing.
You know what I love? I love that when I'm editing the podcast, that you love to get really close to the mic and then really far and then really close and then really far. And then I can hear you clearly and then I can't. It's the nicest thing in the world.
Would it help if I just stayed here the whole time?
Yeah, it would help if you.
Okay, perfect. I'll do just that for you every single episode.
I mean, you're just ruining our podcast. I mean, it's crazy.
Okay.
This is disrespectful to our guest,
the fielders, to our guest.
You're starting his episode like this.
You know what, Perry? That this is my fault. It's all me. I take full responsibility. But
thank you.
Let me get fired up. Woo! Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm feeling it. I'm starting to feel good. I just need that little switch. If only I had some smelling salt or a little feather that would make. Hold on, let me see if this is gonna make me sneeze. Let me tell you, I sneeze one time, give you a little achoo, then a woohoo back to back, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
What's sad is like you're so used to the pod at this point. Like I used to give you the 3, 2, 1, and you'd get like hype. And now it's just like, oh
no, because today's not a real pod day. It's not a real pod
day. That's true. It's an intro day.
This is recovery day. Like by definition,
basically, yeah, it is recovery day.
By definition, it's recovery day. So what is up, y'all? It's your Hook.
I mean, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing at this point.
Brooke, it was hot. I was on a hot streak. What is up, y'all? It's your co-host, Aaron Barkham. Back at it again with yet another episode of the In and Out podcast. Rami Buchaisty Fabian, what we got
still
today?
Not my name. Today we had a great interview. It was a really sick interview. We had a mental performance coach, and I'm trying to stall because I don't remember how you say his last name, but he is Coach Perry on TikTok, _Coach Perry on TikTok. Perry Quartuccio. I think that's how you say it, but I don't remember.
I was waiting for you to say, but I didn't want to say it.
But in all seriousness, he's an awesome guy. And he was really nice. He was really cool to hear his story. It's really cool to hear like where he's at in his path in baseball as like a mental performance coach, and like how he wants to one day become an MLB mental performance coach. He was a really cool guy.
Super cool. First of all, our guy Perry, it all ties into a lot of things going on right now. Ties into a lot of things. First of all, Perry, mental health, mental performance coach. Me wearing a beanie, and some might ask, how is this all related? I'm going to get there in just 1 second. Beanie, wintertime, holidays, Christmas, right? Are you ready for this, Rami?
Christmas, giving back, mental health and community.
No. Giving back is donating. Donating is our sponsor, Vencer. Did you know that 35% of athletes are struggling with mental health in the United States? Did you know that only 1 in 10 of those athletes actually seek help? Vencer, Vencer Co. is a new and fast-growing company actively working to bring awareness to the mental health stigma surrounding athletes today. The stigma surrounding athletes can be very, very detrimental to their mental health.
How detrimental?
Very. It's not funny because of the way they're viewed for speaking.
I don't know why you're laughing during
Like,
this ad read.
I was
I
just
mean,
looking
it's
at you.
embarrassing and it's rude to our sponsors.
They're the best. They're the best.
And it's rude to the athletes. Please pull yourself together. Pull yourself together. It's like you're not even a professional. Can't even make it through an ad read.
Robbie, we actually have to do something about that. The stigma surrounding athletes can be very detrimental to their mental health because of the way they are viewed for speaking out. This is what Venture Co. wants to change. They created wristbands that are meant for athletes to wear while competing. The bands are also reversible, stretched to fit almost anyone, and have sayings on the inside that are meant to bring you back to the right state of. They donate 10% of all net proceeds directly to nonprofit organizations like the Millions. Nope. The Hidden Opponent, Made of Millions, and Athletes for Care. That one's on me, guys. That one's on me. But right now, don't miss out. Right now, this holiday season, beanies. This holiday season, mental performance coach, beanies, winter, giving back. They're gonna give 10% back. Did I mention that? This holiday season, 20% off your order with code In and Out. INNOUT in all caps. In again, nope. Then again, nope. Again, that's In and Out, all caps. INNOUT, 20% off. I'm a JUCO guy, but I'm gonna do a little bit of quick math for you. Some of the bracelets on the website, correct me if I'm wrong, the awareness bracelets are $10.
I don't remember if it's the awareness or the mindset.
Okay.
I remember there are some that are $8. You can get a 3-pack for $20.
But the ones that are 10 also have a 3-pack for $20. Guys, talk about deals. So if you use code In and Out, INNOUT, you're going to get 3 $10 bands for $16.
I mean, that's just too good to be true.
I mean, that's wild. That's basically half off. Code In and Out, 20% off.
I mean, so literally half off.
That's like the Grinch. It's stealing. Shout out to the people at Vencer, but like that's abuse. So guys, please visit the website Vencer on VNCERcode.com right now. 20% off, which is basically 50% off if you run the calculations a little bit. That's code In and Out, INNOUT, all caps at VencerCode.com this holiday season. Our amazing sponsors, Vencer. But to bring us back,
wait. Before we get back, do you want to explain why there's a gap between the ad read parts? Do you not want to explain that?
Guys, when I say that I collapsed.
I mean, just a full was like 28-3 Falcons, like killing it in the first half and then full collapse of the ad.
You'll never understand the gravity of the situation because I just couldn't do it. Like Rami started swimming. I was just like, the way
I mean, you were doing great. And then you just fell apart.
Oh, absolute collapse. I couldn't read for a minute. It was a whole thing. Like I literally it wasn't happening. But shout out to the great people.
Now we're here. Now we made it through.
We're here. By the way, I think about dude, I can't wait for these bracelets. I can't wait.
I can't either. It's gonna be
and
so
it's
sick.
Swimming because I don't know what we're getting.
I know, and it's gonna be sick. Whichever ones we get, I wouldn't have been able to choose anyways.
I know, guys. Also, from a quick timeline standpoint, before you listen to this one, you're gonna watch the episode where we design our custom bats at LV Lumber. By the way, LV Lumber, 25% of proceeds go to fighting kids cancer. I don't know why you're laughing because it's not funny. 25.
It's great. It makes me smile.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. That's a quarter. They're almost. I mean, guys, I don't know if maybe we just picked the best sponsors in the world, but backtrack. Actually, it's official now. You are an LV Lumber athlete. Last episode,
I am now.
Last episode, we were uncertain, but quick timeline standpoint, we did Perry interview. We did like LB Lumber sponsorship episode. Now we're doing this to put together with the Perry interview. So if things don't make sense chronologically, doesn't matter. They don't have to, because we can do whatever we want. But
we on this podcast, we can do whatever we want.
Literally, it's our pod. But guys, LB Lumber, 75% of all proceeds go to fighting kids cancer. LB Lumber, 10% of all proceeds.
Nope.
Ventureco.com.
There you go.
10% of all proceeds go to nonprofit organization. Guys, we are giving 35% back to the community, basically.
Yes, pretty nice. Okay, but back to what we're all here for. Back to what we're all here for.
Back to the main
Coach
event.
Perry.
Back to our guy. Perry. Back to our guy, Coach Perry. Oh, he is undoubtedly the man. But basically, we went through a whole lot of stuff. He kind of talked for his journey to almost what I would call self-actualization. Can we say that?
Sure. I like that. I didn't know JUCO guys knew such big words.
Me neither. But apparently, shout out to our guy Power Clean. JUCO guys do school too.
Shout out. It'll all make sense soon.
It'll all make sense. It'll all fielders. I promise you. Just stick around.
Stay with us. Just stick with us.
Stay with us a couple more episodes. Also, sorry, I know we're jumping. I just want y'all to know what we are about to record with some of the guys over at Precision Baseball now. Fred is going to be unbelievable.
Now you're just all over the place. Come on, focus in.
Okay.
Perry.
Coach Perry, super awesome guy. Talked about his story, talked about everything that he kind of went through in the game to where he is now. Wrote a book. Very cool. At 20? He wrote a book at 20.
Something like that.
Pretty nuts, Rami. That's a year older than you, and you're not even close to writing a book.
Never gonna write a book. Let me tell you that.
For sure not. But anyways, I think he's making really big strides. He's making huge steps towards the goal of being a mental performance.
Huge on TikTok.
Yeah, he's doing great. And it was awesome to have him on the pod. Definitely one of our favorite episodes, because not only was it exciting, it was entertaining, but I think we definitely learned a little bit out of it too.
For sure. And we got a great connection to a guy who we can always talk to about the mental game.
Right. And it just bewildered me about his roommate, which we can't say here. But I've never seen Rami, so what? So that's cool.
It was just everything's such a weird. The world works weird,
dude. The world is
crazy.
The world is wild. But shout out to our guy, Coach Perry. And without further ado, are we gonna send him in? Send him in. All righty. Interview starts now.
So welcome, Perry. It's very exciting to have you. It's a really exciting episode. You obviously are huge on TikTok now, at least for us. 17K is really cool. But we're having you on more so because we love your message and we love the stuff you talk about, and that's what we're all about. So just to start off, if you want to introduce yourself, talk about what you're doing on TikTok now, and then we'll kind of go back and get into your playing career.
Yeah. So this whole TikTok thing, I don't really view it as some crazy feat of having followers. That doesn't really mean much to me. I used to, at least from the jump, when I first had a couple of viral videos, it was cool, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm resonating with so many people. And then of late, I'm putting out content, and it's I get responses oh man, I really needed to hear this. My mom passed away, and I'm just that's again, I don't want to start this podcast deep, but when I see comments like that and the value of my words that are being said, it's just oh my god, there's so much power to the content that I'm making, because my message always goes further than just the sport of baseball. So I love that I'm making a connection to other players and just people in general, and it's been awesome. It's been an awesome ride. In terms of making content now, I just try to provide as much value as possible to kids your age, kids younger, because it just reaches that kind of audience. And it's been great to see some great feedback from it. I do get hate from it, whatever, but I do get mostly good positive feedback that keeps me going with it. And I think without the feedback, I wouldn't make more videos. And I really appreciate. I don't care if there's X thousand amount of views. If I can help out one person two people that watch the video, then I'm happy. I'm content.
For
Sure.
sure. It's
And
about that message.
Yeah, and two things jump out to me. I think it's starting to see lately a little bit more of a focus on, to kind of beat the stigma on mental health in baseball, especially among like dudes in general, right? 'Cause it's always been kind of a hide your emotion thing. But I think lately that's kind of been a little bit more of a better message, and we could actually shout out one of the new sponsors for the pod, Vencer. We'll have their ad read very soon. But that they it's kind of their message to kind of beat the stigma, and just kind of overcoming. So I'm glad you guys kind of go on that same platform, in some sense.
Yeah, I mean, the mental game is, so there's like a fine line between like mental performance in terms of like helping your performance and dealing with adversity, and then there's also there's a fine line between that and then the mental health side. So like dealing with depression, anxiety, and things like that. It's a completely different monster to deal with. And I'm not trying to like bridge that gap because it gets confusing and can get messy. But they're just knowing that there are two different fields of like, this is mental performance. Like this is going to help your performance as a baseball player or an athlete. And then this is going to help your mental health as a human being, as a person.
Sure.
For sure.
So trying to like differentiate between the two is huge for me too.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that. And then Rami, I know you had a couple questions real quick. But I'm really glad that you said that, just because as you get older, high school, college, a lot more is on your plate.
Yeah.
And regardless of how far we are in the game, this is something I was talking to my buddy earlier about. It's going to be an escape from whatever's happening, right? So if you can kind of put aside a lot of these things that are going on and just kind of trust yourself, and it's a game, right? Because no matter how hard it can get, and it will get hard, when you're playing at the highest, when you're playing at higher and higher levels, you're playing real competition. It's not always high school ball. So you got to make sure you understand the line between, hey, competing and being too hard on yourself. So if you want to touch on that a little bit, that might be great.
Yeah. So that whole thing is goes along with the lines of like pressure and bringing pressure on yourself as a player. And the main thing with that is you don't want to identify yourself. You don't want your human person to identify yourself as hey, I'm Aaron and I'm a baseball player. Like you're self-identifying yourself as just a baseball player.
Yeah,
But in reality,
you put too much pressure on yourself.
yeah, and then the grand scheme of things, like, yeah, sure, you play baseball, but you're just a kid of many people in this world that play the sport of baseball. They get the privilege to play high school baseball. They get the privilege to play college baseball. You're a person, a human being that plays baseball. You're not someone who I'm identifying as a baseball player. And again, people identify as baseball players because it's a title when you're getting paid for it, like a job title. That's a different story. But like right now in this moment, you're a kid that plays baseball. You're passionate about the sport of baseball. You're not someone who identifies as it, because because I've had identity crisis as soon as I stopped playing the game, because I had no idea what the hell I was going to do with my life after I stopped playing, because I wasn't working hard toward anything. I didn't have any goals. I was like, well, this is real life now. Like, what do I do? Because all I've known was working hard for baseball, working out for baseball, eating right for baseball, training, everything possible for baseball.
Yeah.
And that's all
100%.
great and things, but you lose sight of the things that actually matter to you, maybe family, friends, your education, and other things like that. So just really it's a balance, but just trying to identify, separate your baseball, player, and then yourself as a human being, if that makes sense.
No,
1,000%.
1,000%.
It's like the same thing that you just said. Like we do baseball all day. Like that's what we are. That's what we live. And then we it gets too big in our heads sometimes, and we forget that there's the life outside of it. We are a person playing baseball. We are not defined by being baseball players.
Right.
And I think that's
yeah. And another thing is you're not going to get a ton better by you're only going to get worse if you're just dwelling on a bad session or something. I remember, maybe that gets to a point when you have too much time in your hands, or a lack of maybe other things that you have going on. But for me, I think, maybe a couple of years ago when I was kind of struggling with some of the stuff, I'd have a bad BP session that would eat me up until the next time I hit beeps. right? Rather
Yeah.
than, maybe I was struggling a little bit off the outside fastball, took a couple swings, realized, all right, put a few good swings on it, called it a day, moved on to curveballs, and then went and hung out with friends later that night. And that you leave it on the field and then you come back to it when you're ready, because in a long off season, it can be hard, right?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hit it right on the head.
And then, so obviously that's a great message, and your overall message, you give so much more than that on like your videos and everything you're saying. But what was your original reason to start making the TikToks for like trying to put out that content?
Oh, wait. Let him, can you back up real quick and just kind of tell us about, first of all, how you got into baseball and then college and what got
absolutely,
you
yeah.
And and then we'll get to that.
All right, yeah. This is kind of like a long story, like a long ride. I'll try to like shorten as much as I can.
Go for it.
So just like you guys probably, you played baseball your whole life. I played baseball my whole life. Went to a competitive high school, got the opportunity to play in college, and Division III college, where I'm at in Jersey, about an hour from my house. So it wasn't far, it wasn't a huge commute, and I lived on campus. And I was a pitcher of the PO. My first outing in the fall, we had an inter squad with our team. Really, the first time you're supposed to like be in front of the coaches, be in front of the team, type of deal. And I'm like, okay, I pitch. You're supposed to pitch like 2 innings. So I had 2 innings to prove what I had in front of my coaches. Long story short, I sucked. Like I brutal. Like I let me ask you this. Let me ask you guys this. What is a pitcher's job?
Get out.
In the simplest terms.
Get outs.
Simpler than that.
Get
throw
hitters
strikes.
off time.
Perfect. Right. Aaron said
Off
throw
balance.
strikes.
Off. Okay.
I didn't throw.
I mean, Rami, that was for sure not.
I mean,
It's
you're
definitely
trying to get
complex, Rami.
hitters.
Rami, that was complex.
That was for sure not simple. I JUCO-ified and you.
I mean, it's just a pitcher's job is to get you like off your timing. Hitting is timing. The pitcher's job is to get.
Are you going to argue with our men? You're going to.
I'm just saying. I mean, that's what.
I don't even know if you're arguing with me. I think you're arguing with the entire world. To be honest,
throw strikes. Fine.
The pitcher's main job is throw strikes. So, nonetheless, I didn't throw one. Like I literally threw 16 balls in a row, and it was the most self-defeating thing I've ever done in my life. And so that led me. Well, fast forward, that led me to not even playing or pitching a single inning throughout the entire my freshman year at college. Mm-hmm. And it was so hard because I took so much pride in like my work ethic and my ability to be a good teammate. And when I worked hard, I didn't get any results. I had the yips. My roommate, one of my roommates who I live with now was my throwing partner, and he would not be able to have a catch with me because I couldn't have a catch.
Wait, so you actually had the yips?
Robbie, stop saying the word, please.
Yeah, we usually don't say because we get scared.
Bro, it was bad. No, it's okay. It's okay. I self-diagnosed myself with it. A lot of people, they get like freaking out with it, but I'm good now. I could throw strikes right now. I literally I threw a bullpen yesterday, bro. I was sick. Like I'm anyways.
Okay.
So what was I going at? I'm thinking about these scared yips.
You had the yips and
it's all right, enough. Like the 4 times.
So long, like we'll fast forward after the whole season. Then going into my sophomore season, the program started to get a little, tricky. Like the entire coaching staff left or was fired. Kids were transferring out. It was so messy. We had like an interim fall squad coaches, and it was just like brutal. And it was a lot of stress and time and energy that I was putting into it. And I remember vividly, I was working out in the off season before the sophomore season. I was working out. I was about to back squat, one of my best movements. Literally about to back squat with my trainer at home. And I'm about to hit my third set, and I turn around. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And he goes, well, you got to do it, bro. Like, go, you got it. It's easy weight. I'm like, no, like, I don't want to like work out and get better for baseball anymore. And the second I realized that, I was like, whoa, this is something I've never felt before. I lost passion for the game, for playing the game. So I made the hardest decision of my life around early February. I quit. I called up the new head coach that we had at my school, who I didn't really have a relationship with. So it wasn't that hard of a conversation, but it was a hard conversation only because I was letting go of something I put so much energy and time into. So I quit. I remember I was crying, I was bawling my eyes out. Then, and when I told you guys earlier, after I quit, I had no idea what the hell I was going to do in my life. And it was a solid, and that's when COVID hit too, quarantine hit. So there's a solid 2 to 3 weeks of me gaining weight, work, sorry, my phone's blowing up. I was gaining weight. I wasn't working out because why would I? And I was just playing video games with my friends and having online class. Like it was brutal, brutal. And I was like, all right, I got to do something with my life. So I had this spark in quarantine from my old professor I had like a semester before about doing something extraordinary with your life. That something extraordinary for me was writing my book. And I put together my book, everything about baseball, everything I relate to baseball, my 2 cents on it. And half of my book is contributions from me. And the other half is like contributions from professional coaches, professional players, and college coaches in every aspect of the game. And I learned so much about everything about baseball that I wish I knew when I was playing, especially the mental part. And that's how I got so infatuated with the mental part, because I was reaching out and connecting with mental performance coaches in professional baseball. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a job, number one. Number two, I wish I knew half the skills that you guys are telling me now that I could have used when I was throwing 16 balls in a row. So like I got super in touch with the mental game. So then after I completed the book and published the book in like 4 months, which was a crazy turnaround. And obviously my network was getting better and my connections were getting great, but I wanted to learn more about the mental game. So I studied books, researched podcasts, connected with more people and picked their brains about it. And I just engulfed myself into it. And I fell in love with the mental game. Then one of my mentors, who's one of the mental performance coaches for the Tampa Bay Rays, I was like, dude, I'm learning all this stuff. How do I get my feet wet in the field? So he was like, you got to just talk for free. I was like, what do you mean talk for free? So I went to Facebook groups around my area. Hey, I'm, Perry, I'm an upcoming mental guy, blah, blah, blah. I want to talk for free to your kids. So I got hits. And the first couple of hits, I was going to practices and talking for like 15 minutes about the mental game. The first 3, 4 times I went out, I sucked. Couldn't public speak. I was brutal. I was stuttering every word. Didn't know what the hell I was talking about. I wasn't confident in anything I was saying. And it was bad. Then I got better and better and better each time I went out. Ended up landing a coaching job in baseball, like a travel team where I'm at, because they liked what I was saying. They wanted to give me a shot at coaching. So I was like, screw it, I'll coach. Then I started coaching like 13, 14U baseball, which I've been doing for a little bit over a year. Then that's especially like during the quarantine, that's when like TikTok and like people were starting to like blow up on social media. Mm-hmm. My best friend, my roommate, is like an influencer type deal. You guys definitely know who he is. I don't want to name drop him right now on the pod, but we could talk about it after. And he inspired me to make videos about baseball and stuff. So I started doing it. I was brutal at it. I wasn't really that good. I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. And then just over time and repetitions, I just got better and better and better at it with TikToks. And then all it took was like 2 or 3 TikToks in a row where it blew up. And then I was like, okay, I have traction. Let me just keep rocking with it. So that's kind of like the long story of it. And then the end goal right now is to be a mental performance coach in professional baseball, get my degree in grad school, and then also run my own business that I'm doing right now.
That'd be pretty tight. That'd be pretty tight. I definitely see.
Sorry for the long story, by the way.
No, that's what you're here for.
It's what we do. It's what we do on the pod. I definitely see, such a huge importance for it because, as we progress, it becomes less and less and less mechanical, right? I mean, like it's gonna be like sometimes the mechanical fixes are just mental cues, right? Yeah, absolutely. So it's learning how to adjust to that. And in the bigs now, you're going to see a mental health or what is it? Mental performance coach. You're going to see them working side by side with the managers, with the hitting coaches. So there's definitely an increasing need for that. So now let me ask you a question. what's the next step? How do you get your name there? How are you more credible than other guys who maybe have the same degree, but maybe played in the bigs for a little bit, who know these guys? So how do you get there?
Okay, so yeah, I was just on another like different podcast today about talking about this type of topic of like having pride and having ego. And I don't want to compare myself to the guys who are in the big leagues doing it, because they're obviously there for a reason. And the guys that I know are my mentors, and I look up to them and I ask them for advice. And I have really good relationships with like probably 3 or 4 of them that are like by my side. I can ask for anything. So that's cool. But the people who were my main thing, like my whole thing was like we're competitors, like we're athletes, we're all competitors. So like in terms of a job, I want to compete and be the best viable option for a professional baseball team in the future. So like with my pride and the accomplishments that I felt that are important to me, like writing a book at 20 years old, doing the videos, putting out content, putting together a mental performance folder on social media that did pretty well, and people get value from. Um, being on a, I don't want to give myself like hype myself up, but like I'm trying to just compete with other people, but also like just I have high standards for myself. And if I'm exceeding my standards, then I'm just like I'm light years ahead of other people who might have, like, I don't even have a college degree yet. I'm still in undergrad.
No, I mean, the more content you put out, I mean, you're at a point where once you get that degree, you already have something going, right? Like you're not just trying to
Yeah,
get into a new
you're
role.
already providing so much value at such a young age and have the like your goal in mind. I don't feel like there's a lot of guys who like know they want to be a mental performance coach in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Like having that goal, having those connections at such a young age, like you have the path and it seems awesome, and like the story even is so cool to hear,
Thank you.
especially since like me and Aaron for sure have like a lot of similarities and stuff like that. And I don't even think I've said this on the podcast, but I just had my first freshman fall and I struggled a lot. And like it was a lot of mental stuff that like I had to push through. And now like I feel like I've come out the other side and I'm ready to like training and come back to the spring and a lot stronger, because I think
Um,
all of
yeah.
it is in like is the mental fight, especially when you make that jump from high school to college.
Right. And Rami, I mean, you could bleep this if you want. We definitely talked a little bit how, you said a little while ago, some of the stuff you're doing felt a little bit like work, right? And I think, we're starting to understand a little bit,
Mhm.
what the process oriented is like. And I think, we're both I think like you said, you're kind of coming out the good side of it where like, yeah, stuff's gonna be work, but it's still enjoyable for X, right? And I think if you
Mhm.
can, understand yourself well enough to understand like where's the line between, push when things are hard versus, doing something you love. And the combination of those, I think, is
Mm.
super important.
That
Yeah.
that's incredible. That's great, because if you're passionate about something, you're going to continue to push as hard as you can until you
Mhm.
physically can't or mentally can't. But the number one thing to always know, goes past baseball. This is for like real life stuff and also baseball, but you need, in order for like success in any realm that you're doing, and if you want true success, true growth, you have to fail. And not just like fail,
100%.
not just fail like, oh, I just failed this, but like you have to struggle like a shit ton. Sorry for my language, but you have to
No,
struggle.
it's okay.
Like it's the most necessary thing if you're gonna grow. And I'm experiencing struggle.
It's the only way to grow. It's the only
Literally,
path.
literally the only way. It's the only way.
Well, because it's not all rainbows and sunshine, right? I mean, there's a rainbow after a storm for a reason, right? What, for you, for time purposes, I know this will take a little bit longer. Say you're struggling, right? What are, how do you say you get somebody that's struggling, sorry, that wants to work with you? What's the process like? How do you approach that? What are the steps you're going to take? What are the skills you're going to give them? Say our buddy Matt is struggling. How are we going to deal with Matt? From point A to when we get done.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of variables that go into it.
Sure, it's not so clear
And
cut, but say
no,
just
yeah, yeah.
say
It
say
depends. It depends on how old they are. If they're younger, then I have to talk to their parents and figure out, what the parents are saying, and then figure out what the kid is actually saying, because sometimes there's a disconnect there. If they're a little older, like you guys, who can understand yourself a little bit more and tap into the mental game a little bit better, it'd be a different conversation. And my whole thing first is, if the number one thing that I need is a relationship with the kid, with a client or an athlete, because when I have a relationship, a personal relationship where there's trust and there's vulnerability and there's honesty, the conversations are easy. It's not like I'm trying to pull teeth for him to have a conversation, because realistically, the answers are the answers within the struggle are inside of the person. All you have to
Right.
do is
And
ask the right question.
sorry to cut you off, but I think it definitely, from your viewpoint, it helps a lot, considering you're not just any, some of the guys right now who are like these elite, mental performance coaches, older guys, maybe played like golf and now they're trying to deal with baseball players. But you're a younger guy, you went through a lot. It's definitely going to help coming through, it feels like you're more like talking to a friend, right? Say I'm 17 or 21. It's a lot different than me trying to, talk to a 60-year-old who I'm not necessarily comfortable with. So that's going to help on your side.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm trying to do, is like kind of leverage my young age to reach the younger guys, which I think has been working, and I will hopefully continue to keep doing. Um, but like I said, like you have to just, all the answers are within yourself. Like the struggle is, all the answers are within you. You just have to ask, as a coach, as a mental guy, all you have to do is ask the right questions and figure out where the root of the problems are. Because once you do that, you can develop a plan to fix it. You can develop
So
any type of plan to talk about, and then you can also
yeah,
implement like mental skills, that like breathing, meditation,
sure.
overcoming adversity, like using post mistake routines, having a routine to fall back on, and just talking. A lot of things is just talking it out, because when you talk it out, you have someone. It's like not a therapist, but like you're just having someone to relay emotions and thoughts that you might not with someone else.
Yeah.
In the fall, I started implementing like a breath before swings because I would be rushing them so much.
Yeah,
So I started using techniques like that because I was always like in a rush to try and do things.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. It's all about slowing the game down somehow.
Yeah.
right. For the sake of time, we're gonna kind of jump into some general questions we kind of
Sure.
asked for everybody. Obviously kind of modified for some of the stuff you do. So Rami and I are kind of go back and forth, just asking you kind of a few questions,
Yeah, hit me.
and these are kind of a little bit broader, so you can kind of go whichever way you want. So the first one, what is one kind of piece of advice you'd give to a younger version of yourself? So
Oh man, that's a big. I mean, I would tell myself
That's
so many
your
things.
whole brand. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just redo it all over again. I would tell myself, because I have a different perspective of it now, because I'm seeing it from a coaching perspective.
For sure.
I would tell myself that the struggle is necessary, but like actually mean it, because you always, like, even if you listen to motivational videos or other people talk on podcasts or anything, and you're at a younger age, or you hear people like your family saying it or coaches saying it, oh, you need to fail, you need to struggle, like it goes through one ear and out the other. But especially when you're younger, but when you actually understand that it is necessary and preparing you for anything that comes down your way, down the path of life, down the path of pursuing your journey of trying to get to the highest level of baseball that you can, it's totally like, because once you understand that it's necessary, it's like, okay, this is a part of the process. Like I need to do this. I need to feel the pain. I need to feel what it's like to be so uncomfortable with myself and with whatever was going on. So I think an actual conversation with my, like, if I could have a conversation with me now with like 17-year-old me, I wish I could, and just say like, bro, like you gotta fail. You're going to soon. Just know that it's necessary, and hopefully you can come out of it, because I didn't come out of it. I ended up quitting. It pushed me to my limits. When you have something you're so passionate about, and you're still having fun with it, there shouldn't be any limits. It should be it just be a part of who you are as a person. I had a limit, I had a breaking point, and that's what happened. But again, I found my way back to baseball somehow.
Exactly.
So,
That's what I was about to say. It's like,
yeah,
yeah, it did push you to your limit, but you also made your way out of it in a way because you found your place in baseball.
yeah,
And like like someone told me a long time ago, like if you give your whole heart to the game, it will find a place for you.
It's so true, bro. Like life's got a funny way of working things out, because after I quit, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. Like I might just play video games my whole life. Like what am I gonna do? And then here we are today.
Yeah.
Right. It's a great answer. Rom, you got anything?
So usually we ask usually we ask what people are focusing on with their training in baseball. So I'll ask two things. What was like the biggest thing you were focusing on when you were still playing, like as a pitcher, and what is the biggest thing you're focusing on with making content?
Wow, these are great questions, guys. This is awesome.
Thank you.
I would say
33 episodes later, we figured out a couple of things.
there you go. A lot of trial and error, I'm sure. It's just fun how it works.
Yeah.
I would say for training for pitching, I think I wish I took more effort into like mobility and being mobile as an athlete, because I was strong. I always was, but I felt like I could have moved maybe mechanically better if I moved my body, my hips, my shoulders the right way. If I was more flexible, I feel like that could have been more of an emphasis in my training that I wish I could have done better. So I think that, because a lot of people just say lift weights and get big and sprint, but like you also need to be mobile like a leopard. So like
for sure.
Especially if you're moving in high performing patterns.
Sure. You need that flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. For content, I try to brainstorm at least one idea a day. And then sometimes randomly throughout the day, I'll just get an idea, write it down, and hopefully just make it on the spot. Like I don't take any. It takes me like a couple of minutes to make a video.
But you're also like speaking from the heart. So it's not.
Yeah, and so that's another thing too. Like I don't like to write a script or anything like that, because then I feel like I'm just talking like a robot. But if I'm talking about something I'm so passionate about, it just flows out, and it's
for sure.
So much better. That's the same thing from us. We don't plan any pods. Like we do a few. Like we do interview questions, and if we have an interview, like we have to make sure we do our research. Sometimes if I get lazy, but truth of the matter is, we love it so much. We could just talk. And for the last 3 weeks, we were on a mission just to get back into this flow of consistency. So we didn't do any interviews, but for 3 weeks, we had to just talk by ourselves. And we're like, oh, we're not going to have any ideas, but got 3 40-minute episodes done. And, we just took care of business because we love it so much.
Yeah, man. When you're passionate about something, like it's like a fire lit under your ass. Like it's the best thing in the world. And you guys are lucky too. I mean, I'm lucky too. Like a lot of kids don't, especially kids at young age, they don't have that passion or know what they want yet. But when they do get it, it's like the best. It's the best because you have something that you actually care and can give effort to. Because like sometimes school, if you're not passionate about school and doing like work and busy work, you have something else to lean on, and it's an escape because it's something you're so driven about. And it's awesome. Like that, I felt so passionate when I was doing my book, which was so weird because I never read anything, I never wrote anything. I just had a passion for writing about what I cared about.
Sure. Makes sense.
Now I just talk. So like it's cool too.
Let me ask you a cool question, side question. How do you feel about golf?
I really wish I can get into it. I'm not good. I'm not good at all. I never got into it when I was playing, and all my friends want me to play. And
it's a perfect sport for after you're done. That's the first thing I'm going to when I'm done.
I need to get into it because I have good friends around me who are actually pretty good.
Let me tell you, if I was a pitcher, I think I'd genuinely two-way and make it on the tour in like 5-6 years. But I'm not, unfortunately. But I'm an avid golfer from time to time if I could drive the ball.
Yeah, I would, dude. If I can get into it, like I 100% like would love it because I have like an addictive personality when I'm doing something. So like if I got into golf, I would get into golf.
No, golf is addicting. All you need is one nice iron stroke and it's in your in. You are dialed.
Yeah.
And then all right, so we're gonna run through a couple more quick questions. This might be a tough one for you. What's your kind of best coaching motto / saying?
Oh, this is actually easy.
Oh, easy. Whoa.
Yeah, bro. I got a year and a half under my belt right now. So I got a couple of things. number one, my favorite thing to say, I tweet it out all the time. Like whoever's been like following on Twitter for like a little over 2 years, I tweet this like at least once a week. I just write consistent effort, consistent effort, consistent effort, like consistent effort, like 4 times. So because I'm a big believer in just consistently putting effort in and then seeing success. Like that's just how, like that's all you have to do. Because I just made my mission statement like for my business and just my brand as a whole. And one of those values that I had, those pillars, was persistence and consistency. So being persistent, but being consistently persistent. Like it's so I'm all about consistent effort as an athlete, as a person, as a student. So that's my little motto. And like that goes for coaches, that goes for kids too who are playing. Like if you want to get better, put in consistent effort, not just go 100% 3 days a week and then give 0% the other 4 days out of the week. Like give me consistent effort, even if it's 75% of your, I don't know, max potential for that day of effort. If you can give that 75% for 7 days, and like that's cool. You're 1% better than you were yesterday. Oh, that's another thing I say too. Sorry, it's another thing I always say. Get 1% better.
Yeah,
love it.
So that is not just a motto in like baseball though. That is something you can use in anything successful. Like
like
always like consistent effort. So back when you were pitching, what was the best thing you did on a baseball field, and what was your best pitch? Like, did you command the zone? Could you blow guys up? Like, what did you do?
This is so hard because like all I can remember is like my failure because that's all I've known, especially of late. My changeup was gross. I could change up. I didn't throw hard. Like I think I maxed at like 82. But what's crazy is when I'm like 2 weeks ago, I threw a bullpen after I was doing my lessons, and I hit 77. Like that was cool because I haven't like my arm was like shot after, but like I haven't thrown a baseball like that competitively for a strike in so long. And I was like, holy crap, I hit 77. Imagine if I trained hard and like maybe I hit 90 or something.
You should train just for fun.
Yeah, you should. Might as well.
Dude, I've had so many. Trust me, I have this idea in my head, and I don't know if I want to fully commit to it. Like, imagine if I were to make content of me like on the road, like just a washed up like college coach, washed up college player who's like a travel baseball coach, and just worked my ass off in every aspect. It would, and then I just record. Imagine
Eric Sim 95 or die. Exactly.
Right.
You just
or I get hurt
90 or die.
You know, so it's
but like who cares? You're not going to the big, so like get Tommy John. Like it's okay.
Yeah, I got nothing to lose. So I think about it. Just that's definitely a lot of commitment. So I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I can't think of my best performance ever. Like I don't even remember. I think my best of like performance I can remember right now is like at the recruiting camp that I did well in at the school that I got recruited to.
Mm-hmm.
We had 5 batters to face. I struck out 3 in a row on 9 pitches. And then I got the other 2 out, and then I got recruited. So it was really easy.
That's pretty nice, having an immaculate inning.
Yeah,
that works. That definitely plays. We're gonna wrap up with 1 to 2 more questions.
Okay.
That's a tough one. What's your absolute favorite thing about baseball?
This is our final question, like our big question.
Yeah, it's a big question.
All right, ask that one more time so I can get it in my head.
Actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to ask you how you became a Baseball Lifestyle 101 ambassador, and then you're going to
answer. Okay. So I got
that one's on me. I looked at my notes and I forgot to do something. So we're going to go back and do it.
I got in touch with BL a year after I finished my book because of my roommate, who I'll tell you guys after. Had to connect with him, and I just had a phone call with him, and we were just like talking and brainstorming stuff for baseball. And then when they opened up the ambassador program, I guess they saw that I was making content, and he just hit me up. He's like, dude, like, you want to be an ambassador? Like, you don't have to really apply. Like, you just want to be an ambassador. I was like, hell yeah. He goes, we'll give you a discount code. You make commission. We'll get you gear, that kind of stuff. So it's been cool. They sent a bunch of gear. They're really good people. That's tight.
It is
Yeah,
pretty.
it's awesome. They're awesome. I mean, I wear this
Yeah.
windbreaker like almost every day. It's freaking amazing.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah,
That's
this is
pretty.
the pod. For the pod, Coach Perry 15 discount code if you guys want to do some BL for the Christmas shopping. So definitely check that out.
I think we might try to hop on and try to get
Yeah.
that.
It's not a
might.
bad idea.
You guys should try. Yeah, 100%. I don't know. It's not like I have like 100. I don't have like 100% pull. Like I don't have pull, so to speak, but I can definitely put in a word and say something for you guys if you guys want to.
Be great.
I was thinking more so maybe I would get something with your discount code to
Dude, I mean, that'd be great. That supports me too.
exactly to support you more so and also get some cool stuff.
It's true. It's
Yeah,
a great company. I think they're doing great things, and I think they made a good decision with you. But now you got to answer that. It's a tough question. It's
real tough question.
Okay, so I don't know if it's going to answer the question, but let me know what do you guys think.
okay.
So my favorite thing about baseball, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I could say this about any sport. I think it's more so I used to be a big baseball fan, and I'm a huge Yankees fan. But
wow, we're gonna have to like delete the episode now.
No, I think it's cool.
Of late,
You're not even a Yankees fan.
I just support it.
Aaron pretends to be a Yankees fan.
I support Yankees fans.
What do you mean you support Yankees fans? What fan are you?
I'm a Yankees partial fan. I'm a Braves guy, but I like the Yankees. I've been.
You know what? Now that makes sense because I'm a partial Braves guy. And you know what? Before we even get into this, what I'm about to say, I'm not gonna lie. If you guys can check my videos from miles back, I had a podcast I was on in January of last year, bro.
Oh wow, he gave the Braves a nod.
I said the Braves are gonna be hot. Watch out for them. And then one of the questions they asked me was, who's going to be the breakout player of the year? And I said Austin Riley. And he had
those are pretty good predictions,
bro.
Those are great predictions.
And in the middle of the season, I remember I play in a men's league softball league, and my buddies at home, and they were like, Perry, like who thinks gonna win the NL East? And this is when the Braves were like awful, like they were in like third or fourth.
Yeah.
And I was like, and because the Mets, my buddies were Mets fans, like they were like a first and second at the time. I'm like, well, Mets are gonna they're gonna fold. Phillies might do it if Bryce Harper stays hot.
Wait, you just verb the Mets?
Yeah, I mean they are a verb. They
I like it. I like it.
And then I said, I know they're third right now. They're having injuries, but the Braves are gonna win the East and win the World Series. And
wow.
And I was it.
That's wild. That's wild.
I said that on June 6th.
I wish.
I'm a huge Braves fan, and like I halfway through this season, I was like, what are we even doing at this point? Like, and Acuna got hurt, and I was like, we have no shot anymore. Like the season's over.
What's wild is that you're a weir. You're a weir, Ron.
Yeah. I mean, that's I don't know. But I guess going back to the question, my favorite thing about baseball is just like high performance, because I love and I'm infatuated with what makes the elite players so elite. Like I just love it. And because
interesting,
bro, there are different types of like breeds. There are different people. Like the Max Scherzers, the DeGroms,
the
Bryce Harper.
DeGrom's crazy,
bro. They're unreal type of. Their routines are so in tune, and nothing will waver them. Like they're animals, and they're not. I feel like they're not human. But that's what makes me feel like that's why they're so successful.
Yeah, but something I'd argue that I love about it is that I think you can become that also.
100%.
And like you can also see how human they are.
Yes, I agree. I agree with that too. However, there's a reason why they're up top, and there's a reason why the guy there's something's not clicking for some other people, and they are for these type of elite. So that's what I love about baseball is like the best players, like, but not because of the home runs, the strikeouts, but because of why they become that. Like, why are they like that? That's what I like about it. If that answers that question.
That for sure does. That's one of the most unique answers I think we've ever gotten.
Yeah, we're actually soon to compile our top 10 moments of the pod. I think I could sneak in there.
Listen, I mean, I am a top 10 guy. I mean, I brought the Braves. The Braves one, the Austin Riley pick was unreal for me. Like that was unreal.
Pretty unreal. I mean, he almost he had at one point like a case for the MVP.
Yep. Yep.
It's true. It's true.
I didn't think Bryce was gonna get it, but like whatever.
Yeah. I don't hate Bryce. I know I'm gonna get a lot of slash for that, but
I don't hate him either. I don't hate him either.
Okay. I like that. I like that.
He's
Roundy
just,
does.
no, I don't hate him. He's just like a jerk sometimes.
Okay, but aren't we all? Aren't we all, Roundy?
No, that's just you. Okay, to end the pod though, we usually let our guests shout out whatever they want to shout out. So your username on TikTok, your book, all that stuff, whatever you want to shout out.
You can find my book on Amazon. It's called Reaching Home Plate. TikTok at _Coach Perry, Instagram at Perry.Quartuccio, Twitter, if you guys have Twitter, at Perry Quartuccio.
I feel like you should spell that.
Yeah, so Quartuccio is with the Q.
Yeah.
You got Q, you got UARTUCCIO.
Okay. I like that.
And it will be written out in the podcast description.
Yeah, and I'm an open book for whoever's like listening in. Just literally hit me up with a DM or whatever. I answer most of my DMs, and I'm open for any conversation about baseball and performance because that's what I love. So, and again, I appreciate you guys for having me on. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.